So, and then what you also want for your children, like we taught our kids how to behave in restaurants. We'd take them to restaurants when they were little, only for about 45 minutes when they were little, because you can't expect a kid to sit for too long. But you know, the rule was, well, you can come to the restaurant, but you have to act like a civilized creature. And if you didn't, then we went and stood outside, you know, and even if it was winter. So I can remember my daughter, who's in the audience tonight, by the way, she'd be standing. She'd misbehave in the restaurant. Try and pull some stunt, eh? Because kids will do that. You take them to a new place, they'll pull some stunt they never try at home. It's because they know, they think, what are you going to do if I do this here? It's like, I'm going to take you outside. We're going to stand where it's cold. So we'd stand there. She'd look at me and I'd look at her and say, how's this going for you? It's like, I'm cold. It's like, yeah, it's cold out here, eh? It's like, was it better in the restaurant? Yeah. Do you want to go back in the restaurant? Yeah. You want to act like a civilized human being? And we'll go back in the restaurant. It's like, yeah, okay. Back we go, you know. It was pretty straightforward, you know. So, and that worked. But what was so fun about that was, first of all, we got to go to restaurants, and so that made us not quite as bitter and horrible about being parents as we might have been. And the second was, you know, that other adults who didn't know the kids would respond to them really positively. So we'd take the kids to restaurants and they'd all sit there and smile and eat and, you know, be civilized. And then other adults would come along and say, they'd pat them and say, you know, you kids really behaved well. And they'd actually smile at them. You know how if there's a kid at a restaurant causing all sorts of trouble, you kind of smile, but like a carnivorous vampire, that's sort of how you smile. But the kids would go out, and because they were behaving, you know, with a certain amount of propriety, then all the adults would show their good side, because adults actually like kids. You know, like you have to be a pretty dark person to not have a small child light a little light in your heart, you know? And so, as long as the child isn't doing everything in its power to extinguish that light, then, you know, you can get some positive responses, even from really rough people. And so, the kids would go out to restaurants and people would pat them and smile at them. And why wouldn't you want that for your kids? You want your kids, so other kids like them. What a deal. Then other kids like them and invite them to play games and they have a good life. And adults want to have them around and will be nice to them and teach them things. It's like, you're done. Parent, you're done, right? And you can do most of that by the time the kid's 4. So, but you have to come to terms with the fact that kids aren't innately good, and neither are you, that's for sure. And so you have to act like an intelligent person with some apprehension of your own horror and the terrible things that you're capable of doing, and then regulate your household so that those things aren't necessary. And so that's really useful. So that's rule 5.